Hey, what's going on? Jason Capital here, and welcome to What to Say. First off, I want to congratulate you on your decision to join the family here. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the team. We are glad to have you here. And I want to say that you've taken a very, very important step in your success with women. All right, so let's put you on the right path and let's get you going, okay? What to say. Now, as you'll notice, my teaching style, I don't fuck around. There's no fluff. I just get straight to the point. So please have your pen, paper, notepad, text document, iPad, Evernote, iPhone, whatever it is you use to take notes, get that thing ready right now because I'm gonna go fast here. I'm gonna go through all these things right now and we're going to crush this, okay? So here's what we're gonna cover in this video. Number one, we're gonna cover the 3 most common mistakes that guys make when talking to the women that they're interested in. Number 2, we're gonna cover the simple trick to never run out of things to say. Learn this trick, never run out of things to say with the girl you're talking to. Just be a fucking conversational badass. I'm gonna show you how to do that. And number 3, we're gonna cover the one trick that all the world's best seducers already do naturally to create that fun, playful, seductive, flirty vibe with whatever girl they are interested in, okay? And then I got one little surprise for you at the end. It's really good, so we'll get to that when we get there. All right, so let's begin here right now, all right? So the 3 biggest mistakes that guys make when talking to women they're interested in. I'm gonna cover them all right now, then I'm gonna go a little bit of detail on the board here behind me, and then we're gonna continue. All right, so number 1, standards are too high, not for the women they're interested in, all right? You can get any woman you want, that's not that big a deal. I'm saying that their standards are too high for what is acceptable for them to be talking about, okay? A lot of guys, we'll get there in a second, all right? Number 1, standards are too high for what is acceptable to talk about. Number 2, not knowing how to relate on an emotional level with the girl that they're talking to. And number 3, being reaction seeking in their conversation, all right? So number 1, let's get this right here. Standards are too high, okay? The standards are too high, which means when you're talking to a girl, if you're ever talking to her and you don't know what to say, you're starting to think about like what's something good here I can talk about, what's something good enough to talk about, what's an interesting subject. If you're ever doing that, well then your standards are too high, all right? This is what most guys do. That's why they usually talking to a girl and they end up at a point where they don't know what to say. It's because they're in their head trying to figure out what to say. The only reason you ever get in your head to try and figure out what to say is because you think that, certain things you want to talk about aren't good enough. You think that there's a certain standard that you need to talk about in order to attract a girl. Not true. What actually repels her away is when you're in your head trying to think about what to say, because that actually conveys to her that, whatever you want to talk about, you don't think is good enough. She'll pick that up. She'll go, this guy doesn't, what he actually wants to talk about or just the normal shit he wants to talk about. If he doesn't think it's good enough, then he must think he's not good enough, and that's why he needs interesting things to talk about, and therefore he doesn't think he's good enough for me, so I'm not really interested in him. She won't consciously think of that, but subconsciously she'll be aware of it, and she'll notice it. The guys who are the best with women, they don't really care what she's thinking or what she thinks of what they want to talk about. They just talk about what they want to talk about, and they have fun doing it, and she gets with the vibe, and she enjoys it, all right? So your standards are too high for what you're saying right now. Let me pick this up for you. So from now on, no longer are your standards too high for conversation, but now you are a new member. Congratulations, by the way. You didn't even know about this membership we're about to get right now, of the London Bridge Conversation. See how fast I can write for you here. You are now a member of the London Bridge Conversation Club. Congratulations. Welcome to the team. We're really happy to have you. What is the London Bridge Conversation Club? Here's what it is. You ever heard of London Bridge, right? It fell down. It's gone. Those are your standards right now, okay? That's what happened to your standards for conversation. You no longer have standards for what is acceptable conversation. Doesn't exist. There are no standards. London Bridge has fallen down. No more standards. You talk about whatever the hell you want to talk about and you just run with it, okay? You're talking to a girl. I can talk about the floor to a girl and make it interesting. I can be talking to a girl right here and I can be like, this brick wall is amazing. Do you see this? Do you ever thought about, did they actually take brick by brick into this fucking building when they needed to make this studio? That's really amazing. And she'd be like, yeah, that is really interesting. And I'm like, yeah, the bricks actually remind me of this house I grew up in. And then boom, we're off and we're running, okay? Number 1, standards are too high. Number 2, not knowing how to relate on an emotional level. I hope you like my handwriting. My first grade teacher was actually the one who taught me how to write so poorly. Anyways, a lot of guys are talking to a girl. Tell me if this has ever happened to you. But she'll tell you something and she'll share some story with you or some experience with you, and you'll be like, yeah, that's really cool. That's awesome. And then the conversation just ends, right? She was sharing something with you, and you didn't have anything to reply back or say, and you're just like, yeah, cool. or that's awesome, cool. If you ever say that, that's awesome, that's cool, or really interesting, or something like that, know that you're putting a dead stop to the conversation and you are not connecting emotionally. Women want to connect emotionally. This is what they want in guys, right? They want guys who know how to emotionally connect, but also know how to turn them on physically, which we'll get to later. But this is a big thing. Most guys don't know how to emotionally connect with the girls that they are interested in, okay? So instead of the whole cool, or those little dead stops that guys put in the conversations, the cools, the interesting, or no way, or I didn't know that about you, or all that boring ass not knowing how to connect shit. Instead, what you're gonna do from now on, okay, is you are going to relate with her. Flooring concept, right? So basically, if you're talking to a girl, actually, let me give you a story. So last night I was talking to this girl, and she was telling me about this trip that she took to Australia. And she was saying that she went to Australia because, she was just like, she was kind of bored here, right, in California, and she wanted to go do something, to explore something new. She had friends from Australia. She knew it was gonna be a great experience, and she was really nervous before she went. But she took off, and so amazing. And they went to this place in Sydney with the most amazing architecture. She'd never seen it before, and it was just like really, it was really an incredible experience for her, okay? So as she's telling me that, most guys are gonna be like, oh, that's really cool, or what did you do in Australia, or how long were you there? Like, they ask these boring data-seeking questions. When you ask a girl, how long were you there, what was the, how long was the flight, or that type of stuff, you're asking for data, okay? You're asking for like single answers, like, how long were you there for? 21 days, cool. End of conversation. You don't want to ask data-seeking questions. Instead, you want to ask process-seeking questions. Okay, this is kind of off topic, but you want to ask process-seeking questions. So she went to Australia. I can ask her, well, what was that like? What was your favorite part about your trip? Well, now she can't just answer 21 days. She has to actually access that emotion, and she has to go, oh, well, my favorite part was this. And then I can say, well, why did you like it? What did that feel like to be in that experience? Then she has to kind of access those emotions, and now we can have a deeper, more emotionally connecting conversation, okay? But instead, you want to relate with her. So you get her talking about her emotional experiences, but when she's telling me that story about going to Australia and she was really nervous about it, but she went for it, what are the emotions that she is conveying to me? Okay, what are the emotions that she's literally putting out there for me to connect with should I want to? Well, she's telling me about trying new things, being nervous, expanding your boundaries. Those are all different emotions she's talking about. So I can say that's awesome. It reminds me of the time when I was 19 and I lived in Michigan. I got this opportunity to go play basketball in Florida, and moving away from home was a big deal, but I was like, I got to do this. I didn't know anyone there, but it's like something you got to do, right? You got to explore your boundaries, your comfort zone if you really ever want to grow. So I did it, and this and this and this happened. So now we're relating, right? So she didn't say necessarily that the reason she went to Australia was because she wanted to expand her comfort zone or try new things. She might have said that she wanted to get away from home and see what the country was like. But the emotion that she was conveying was that she wanted to try something new, that she wanted to expand her boundaries, to explore her comfort zone. And as a man who knows how to relate with her, you need to be able to read between the lines and see that's what she's actually saying. And then you can give her back a story yourself that kind of conveys the same emotion. And now you guys are connecting. Now you guys have something in common, a deep emotional bond. Which, by the way, I don't know if you knew this, but girls usually like to sleep with guys that they have a deep emotional connection with. All right. Now, mistake number 3. Being reaction seeking in your conversations with girls, okay? Now, what this means is that when you're talking to a girl, you are constantly saying things and concerned about what she thinks or concerned about her reaction, okay? So if I'm talking to a girl and I was to make a joke, let's say, and I kind of didn't laugh at my own joke or something like that, or I was like, I made the joke and then I'm like kind of like waiting, like, did she like it? Did she laugh? What does she think? What is she thinking right now? That's being reaction seeking, okay? Or if I'm constantly looking over her for her approval, if she's like cool with what I'm talking about right now, that's reaction seeking. Instead, you need to talk about what you want to talk about. You need to make the jokes that you want to make. You need to say the shit that you want to say, and you can't care what she thinks. It's highly counterintuitive, but it's actually what attracts her to you. On a deeper level, what it's basically saying is that you don't need her approval, right? But you're talking about what you want, you're saying, I don't need your approval, which in turn implies that she needs your approval, okay? And she starts reacting to you. And women are always attracted to the guys that they're reacting to. So the guy out there is leading the charge. He's the one talking about what he wants to talk about, making the jokes he wants to make, being the life of the party. She's reacting to him. Now she's attracted to him, or she's attracted to you. So you don't want to be reaction seeking. Instead, I got a little formula for you here. Let's get our trusty eraser here one more time. So instead of being reaction seeking, from now on, when you're talking with the girls that you are interested in, you're going to be a combination of amusing plus indifferent, okay? There might not be a more attractive substance in the world than indifference, okay? So basically you're talking to her, you are more, you're making the jokes you want to make, you're talking about the things you want to talk about, you're telling the stories that you want to tell, you're leading the conversation, you're having fun with it, but at the same time, you're indifferent to what she's thinking, you're indifferent to her reaction. Sometimes she loves what you say, sometimes she hates what you say, but it's not going to stop you from you doing and saying what it is that you want to do. You're indifferent, all right? That's like the ultimate formula. It's one of the formulas for attracting girls. The guys who are amusing plus indifferent always tend to get the girls. The indifferent part almost being more important than the amusing part. All right, so quickly to recap, we have number one, having your standards being too high for what you want to talk about. Well, now you're a member of the London Bridge Conversation Club. You don't give a fuck about standards. You talk about what you want to talk about. You say what you want to say. You just let it roll, okay? And that works much, much better, okay? Again, we explained why, because when you're talking about what you want to talk about, you're saying what you want to say, you're implying to her that you already believe you're enough for her, that she needs to prove herself to you, and it creates that really kind of the right status positions in the interaction for her to be attracted to you, okay? Number two, not knowing how to relate to her. Well, now you know how to relate to her. We talked about kind of reading between the lines for the emotions that she's actually conveying and how to return that and how to connect with her with stories that relate, you know, that basically demonstrate you've experienced the same emotions and you guys go back and forth there. And number three, stop being reaction seeking. Fuck the reactions. Who gives a fuck? Say what you want to say, do what you want to do. Life's too short, plus the fact, you know, when you act that way, she wants you. This is like easy shit right here. So instead, be amusing, amuse yourself, talk about what you want to talk about, say the jokes you want to make fun of her if you want to, and be indifferent at the same time. All right, so let's get to the simple trick to never run out of things to say right now. Okay, so you're talking to a girl and things are going well, and then all of a sudden it hits that like that point where you don't know what to say and she's not saying anything, and you kind of get that awkward silence, and it's like, yeah, you know, it was really nice meeting you. I'm gonna go to my friends now. Hopefully I'll see you later tonight. And boom, and you go, and that's it. Okay. Happens to a lot of guys. It's very common. But fortunately, you know, one, you now are a member of the London Bridge Conversation Club. You know, actually a gold member. I didn't mention that before, so congratulations on that. But that also means that that really won't happen anymore. Because if you get to it, you're talking to a girl and you hit that point where you don't know what to say, you can just be like, I'm psychic. She'll be like, what? Yeah, I'm psychic. You didn't know? And then you can kind of run with that, right? You can say anything you want now. However, there's actually a really seductive way to handle this situation. In case you ever have that point where you don't know what to say, this is my simple trick to never run out of things to say and do it in a really seductive way. All right? So it's something I call snap cold reads. Okay? Now, a cold read is something that psychics have used and street performers and stuff use for decades to make the person you're talking to think that you know more about them than you actually do. It's kind of a way to make a person think that you really get them, right? You understand them, which is really powerful for seduction. I call them snap cold reads, okay? And it's so good that it deserves an underline. Now, snap cold read is a quick one-sentence thing that's gonna say a million attractive things about you, okay? So basically, there's two of them. I'm gonna give you the first one right now, and then I'll tell you why this thing works so damn well. Okay, so, you seem like a insert whatever you want. Okay, so I'm talking to a girl, and there's a point where it's kind of quiet. I can just kind of look at her and be like, you know, you seem like the kind of girl who spent a lot of time in detention when she was in high school. Do you see the genius behind this? Because I do. Okay, let me tell you why this works so well. Number one, you're in that me-you frame of communication. You're not talking about other things or other people. It's about you and her. That is where seduction takes place. We're talking about you and her, okay? So we're already in that frame when I say you seem like A. I'm saying what I think about her. It's me, you, number one. Number two, it's not a question, right? I'm not seeking anything. Instead, I'm telling her. I'm coming from this place of higher status, of higher position by saying, you seem like A to me, okay? It puts you in the driver's seat, okay? It's a good place to be in. Number three, it makes you seem really perceptive and present to the moment. It's like you're looking at her and you're making these reads about her. It's really powerful. And number four, if you get it right, well, now you seem like a fucking genius on top of it, like you really get her. And you guys just have this weird connection where you guys were just supposed to meet. It works really, really well. And you can put in anything you want here. You seem like a girl who got into a lot of trouble when she was in high school. You seem like a teacher. You seem like a nurse. You seem like a good girl. You seem like a bad girl. You seem like a girl who shops at Costco but hates Sam's Club. You seem like a girl who loves Ryan Gosling movies. You seem like a girl who hates Katherine Heigl as much as I do. Whatever it is, okay? Throw it in there. If you get it right, awesome. Okay. If you get it wrong, then you still get the first 3 bonus points that I mentioned. Maybe you don't get to get the 4th, but now she's gonna start asking you questions because she's gonna want to know, why did you say that? Why did you think that about me? You know, how could you tell that I don't like Katherine Heigl? She's gonna want to know all of that shit. It works out really, really well. All right, so let's snap cold read. Keep it in your back pocket. Number 1, you seem like a. I'll give you the second one right now. I'll tell you why I really like this one. I feel like you. Insert whatever the hell you want. Okay, same thing. So you seem like a girl who thinks Tina Fey isn't funny. You don't understand why the American public likes her so much. I don't know where that one came from. I obviously don't believe that. Or you could say, I feel like you don't like Tina Fey's humor. You don't understand why the American public hates you so much. I feel like you got into a lot of trouble when you were in high school. I feel like you do yoga at least 3 times a week. I feel like you love Californication as much as I do. I feel like you're that kind of girl that I could talk to for hours and you could just listen. You can say whatever the hell you want, but it's the same thing. To snap cold read anytime you run out of things to say, keep these in your back pocket, use them at will. What's cool about this one is when you say, I feel like you're actually saying, you're not saying you seem like it, you're saying I feel, right? That's an emotion. Okay, you're saying I feel this way. Okay, now people can argue about facts and stuff and data all day long, but you can't argue with someone's emotion. What they feel, whether they should feel it or not, is irrelevant, but what they feel is what they feel. You can't tell them they should feel another way. So if I say I feel like you, even if I'm wrong, it's just, that's the vibe I'm picking up because that's just how I feel. I just feel like you, whatever, okay? I just feel like you just get me. I feel like I can just talk to you for hours. I just feel like I can make fun of you and you just love it. Whatever the hell you want to say, okay? So that is the simple trick. You will never run out of things to say anymore once you have these 2 lines in the back pocket, okay? So now, let's get our trusty eraser back here. Un más tiempo. And now we're going to talk about the #1 secret that the world's best seducers all use, or all kind of have naturally in all their interactions with the girls, okay? Now, like I said, these seducers aren't guys named Don Juan drinking red wine with bulls running by with capes, speaking sweet nothings in someone's ear, okay? These are like normal dudes, normal cities. They just do one thing differently than you probably do right now, okay? Here it is, okay? It's something called push, pull, okay? It can also be, you can insert hot, cold in there. You can insert, like, don't like. You can insert interested, not interested. Basically, they have this constant energy going back and forth with the girl of push and pull, all right? Push and pull, push and pull. What that means is that verbally or with their body language or whatever, they're constantly showing interest and then they're acting disinterested. Or they're taking it away. And they're showing more interest and then they're taking it away. And they're got the girl going back and forth until she's almost like, does he like me? Does he not like me? And what happens is they actually intrigue the girl so much into liking them. That's usually most relationships, most guys with girlfriends right now or guys are good with girls, they're just doing some manifestation or some form of this, and this is what is causing so much attraction in the girl, okay? So the secret is push-pull. So if I'm talking to a girl at a bar or something like that, we've been talking for a couple minutes, and I say to her something like, you know what, you're a really fun person, you're really interesting, it's too bad you're too short for me. That's a push-pull line, right? That's just one line of push-pull. I basically said, you're really fun, you're really interesting. That's me pulling her in. I'm showing her my interest. I'm bringing her closer to me, right? And then I say, it's too bad, you're too short for me. I'm pushing her away now. I'm telling you it would never work, okay? Pushing and pulling, okay? Or I can be talking to a girl and I'm facing her and I'm like, that's really interesting. And then, mid-conversation, I just kind of like look around for a second. And I'm looking around and I'm like, yeah, cool. Boom, 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 boom. Then I'm back, right? It's body language, just pushing and pulling the body language, pushing and pulling the eye contact. It's just a constant, you're never constantly, showering her with pull things. Pull things would include like compliments, showing interest, asking her really deep questions, sharing really deep stories with her. Those are all things that are really conveying your interest in her, which is fine, but you just need to balance it with the push, right? So you're constantly just balancing the two. So I give her a lot of that stuff, the compliments, the stories, the really connecting, showing my interest, and then I do a shitload of stuff where I'm turning the other way or I'm pushing her away at the same time, which would be making fun of her, teasing her, acting disinterested, telling her it would never work between us, ignoring her, just things like that, okay? So you want to have that constant balance of push-pull is what just creates this incredible amount of emotional desire in her for you. Okay? It's really easy. It's really simple. All the world's best do it. I recommend you do the same. If you were to look at history of all the world's best seducers, of how couples hooked up in the 60s or just anything, you'll always find that there was some combination of push and pull that went on to make the girl attracted to the guy. Okay? So, as promised, we've covered everything here, right? We covered the 3 most common mistakes guys make when talking to girls. We covered my simple trick. Never run out of things to say. You'll never run out again with the Snap cold reads. Excuse me. And then finally, of course, we discovered the #1 secret that all the world's best seducers already do naturally with the girls that they are interested in. Okay, so what do you do now? Where do you go next? Well, I've got one more free video for you. As promised, I did have a surprise for you. I want to give it to you now. And it's called the deadliest pickup line of all time. Okay, now this is one simple sentence you say to any girl that makes her instantly attracted to you. It's really powerful. It's really cool. And I want to give it to you for free one more time as a thank you for watching this whole video here. I want to send you on your way with that one. All right, so click the link below this video right now to go watch the deadliest pickup line of all time. Make sure you watch the video in full. It's about 15 minutes, and in it, you're even going to see me demonstrate the line on a friend of mine, Ashley, live. Okay, so you actually get to see the line in person, not just have me kind of teach it to you here. You can see how it works, and then you get that line. Go out tonight, use it on the girl of your choice. And what you want to do with her once she's attracted to you is, of course, up to you. So, man to man, eye to eye, I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope this helped you out a lot. Again, I'm always here for you, JasonCapitalDating.com, MakeWomenWantYou.Now.com. I am out. I'm going to the gym, and then I'm going out tonight, actually. It's going to be a fun night. We'll see what happens. I'll see you later, man. Peace.